2014 regular meeting of the Board of Chosen Freeholders. Mr. Clerk, please read the roll call.
Freeholder Bergen.
Present.
Freeholder Carter.
Present.
Freeholder Estrada.
Present.
Freeholder Granados.
Present.
Freeholder Kowalski.
Here.
Freeholder Mirabella.
Present.
Freeholder Wright.
Present.
Vice Chairman Jallo.
Present.
And Chairman Hudak.
Here.
Chairman, you have 9 freeholders present.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk, please lead us in the prayer and the salute to the flag.
Humbly we ask God, the giver of peace and the lover of charity, to give the entire family of nations true agreement with his will, and to grant the light of his spirit on all who work for justice and peace. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Clerk, would you kindly read the statement of compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act?
The Chair wishes to announce that pursuant to requirements of New Jersey statutes annotated, Title 10, Chapter 4, Section 10 of the Open Public Meetings Act, adequate notice of this meeting of the Board of Chosen Freeholders of the County of Union has been given by mailing the annual meeting schedule for the year 2014, along with periodic changes necessitated by circumstances, to the newspapers circulating within the County of Union who are designated to receive such notice, and by posting the annual meeting schedule for the year 2014 in the Administration Building, and filing the annual meeting schedule for the year 2014 with the Office of the County Clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. I'm just going to jump ahead on the agenda. We have communications. May I have a motion to approve communications?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Motion was made by Freeholder Mirabella and seconded by the Vice Chairman. Mr. Clerk, please read the roll call.
Freeholder Bergen.
Yes.
Freeholder Carter.
Yes.
Freeholder Estrada.
Yes.
Freeholder Granados.
Yes.
Freeholder Kowalski.
Yes.
Freeholder Mirabella.
Aye.
Freeholder Wright.
Yes.
Vice Chairman Jallo.
Aye.
And Chairman Hudak.
Aye.
Chairman, you have 9 votes in the affirmative.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. And we also have minutes to approve. May I have a motion to approve the minutes for the August 7th, 2014 agenda meeting, the August 14th, 2014 regular meeting? Motion to approve those minutes.
So moved.
Seconded.
Motion was made by Freeholder Kowalski. It was seconded by the Vice Chairman. Mr. Clerk, please read the roll call.
Freeholder Bergen.
Yes.
Freeholder Carter.
Abstention on the 7th? Yes. On the 14th?
Freeholder Estrada.
Yes.
Freeholder Granados.
Yes.
Freeholder Kowalski.
Yes.
Freeholder Mirabella.
Staying on August 7th and yes on August 14th.
Freeholder Wright.
Yes.
Vice Chairman Jallo.
Aye.
And Chairman Hudak.
Aye to the 14th, abstain on the 7th.
Chairman, for the minutes of the August 7th agenda setting meeting, you have 6 votes in the affirmative with 3 abstentions. For the minutes of the August 14th regular meeting, you have 9 votes in the affirmative.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. I'm going to go back to the beginning of the agenda where we have presentations from the board. As many members of the public may be aware, on August 25th, 2014, for the second year, Union County conducted a gun buyback at 2 locations, one in Plainfield at the the Visions of God Family Worship Church, and also at the Morning Star Community Christian Center in the city of Linden. It was a very successful event. We've invited today representatives from both the Visions of God Family Worship Church and Morning Star to be with us today. Pastor Dean from the Visions of God Church was delayed in arriving, so we tried to buy a few extra minutes for him, but he has not had the chance to make it to the meeting yet. So we're going to go ahead and do the presentation to Morning Star Community Christian Center, and they are being represented this evening by the chairman of their board, Mr. Frank Porter. And actually, excellent timing for Pastor Dean. So by doing the minutes, we were right on schedule. So I'm going to ask if Freeholder Carter and Freeholder Estrada would kindly join me for presentations. And we also have here this evening our Union County Police Chief, Dan Vaniska, and I ask that Tim Eisenhower from the Union County Prosecutor's Office also join us as well. Of course, Pastor Dean and Mr. Porter, if you would join us as well. Gentleman right in the middle. And this is for Morningstar? All right, so we were very proud to partner with Union County Law Enforcement for the second time in the second year in a row. My predecessor as chairman, Freeholder Carter, initiated the first gun buyback, which was very successful. We decided to do it again this year because of that success, and I know the folks from our law enforcement community, as well as support from the Plainfield and Linden Police Departments, were very pleased with the results. Over 480 weapons were collected, and they will be, some weapons most will be destroyed. Others will end up actually in museums. We had a couple of World War II era rifles that looked like they came 58. Thank you very much, Freeholder Carter. So 58 weapons will end up in museums, which is where they belong. Some of the criticism that we've gotten is, are these guns actually being used in crimes, or is it going to make a difference in the community? Last year, a number of the weapons that were found through the buyback were found to have been stolen. And so those weapons are now off the street. But additionally, many of the weapons that came in might have been turned in by a family member who was rummaging through a closet. There were a couple elderly ladies who came in with a nice World War II era sniper rifle, which came back, I'm sure, in pieces in someone's bag after World War II. Those weapons may find their ways into the hands of a criminal. They may find their ways into the hands of a child. And so they were off the street forever. We appreciate both our friends over at Morningstar and Visions of God, who gave up a Saturday and allowed us to use their facilities as a safe place for members of the community to come in and turn in these weapons. It was a very good event. We could not have done it without our strong partnership with law enforcement in Union County, but also our strong partners in the community. So it was a job well done, and we thank you very much for your support in that effort. Our pleasure. So, with that. Great timing. Okay, so now there is a need for the board to go into an executive session. County Counsel, would you please read your statement relative to tonight's executive session?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Pursuant to the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act, public body may enter into executive session for the purpose of discussing certain enumerated subjects. This board now wishes to enter into executive session for the purpose of discussing attorney-client privilege communications and potential additional contract negotiations with Center Management Group, LLC, relative to Runnels Specialized Hospital and lease of Cornerstone Psychiatric Unit, and attorney-client privilege communication relative to contract negotiations with PBA 199A. Minutes of the executive session shall be separated from the minutes of the open public session. Minutes of the executive session, redacted as appropriate and necessary, shall be available in approximately 30 days. Clerk to the board shall retain the original minutes until such time as the confidential limitations have been removed, at which time they shall be made available. Upon the affirmative vote of a majority of the members present, the board may retire to executive session. Upon the board's return, it may take formal action on the matters discussed.
Thank you, County Council. May I have a motion to go to executive session?
So moved. Second.
Motion was made by Freeholder Mirabella, and it was seconded by Freeholder Carter. Mr. Clerk, read the roll call, please.
Freeholder Bergen.
Yes.
Freeholder Carter.
Yes.
Freeholder Estrada.
Yes.
Freeholder Granados.
Yes.
Freeholder Kowalski.
Yes.
Freeholder Mirabella. Freeholder Mirabella.
Aye. Again.
Freeholder Wright.
Yes.
Vice Chairman Jallo.
Aye.
Chairman Hudak.
Aye.
Freeholder, I apologize. Chairman, you have 9 votes in the affirmative.
We're in exec.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Motion was made by Freeholder Mirabella, and it was seconded by Freeholder Carter. Mr. Clerk, please read the roll call.
Freeholder Bergen.
Yes.
Freeholder Carter.
Yes.
Freeholder Estrada.
Yes.
Freeholder Granados.
Yes.
Freeholder Kowalski.
Yes.
Freeholder Mirabella.
Aye.
Freeholder Wright.
Yes.
Vice Chairman Jallo.
Aye.
And Chairman Hudak.
Aye.
Chairman, you have 9 votes in the affirmative.
Thank you. County Council, any statements relative to the executive?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, with reference to the two items that were discussed in executive session, as a result of those discussions, the board will be taking action on a resolution relative to the ongoing contract negotiations with Center Management and the leasing of the Cornerstone Psychiatric Unit.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So, we did communications a minute earlier. We're going to move to resolutions, and at this point, I wish to open the meeting up to the public for purposes of commenting on resolutions being offered for adoption only. Kindly state your name and town of residence for the record and the resolution to which you are referring, and adhere to the 5-minute time limit.
Prior to speaking, I just want to ask about this resolution. If it's on tonight, the center manager resolution, are we going to get a copy of it so we can look at it?
County Clerk. Do we have the copy of the resolution?
The resolution, as in all the other resolutions, I guess, would be available after adoption, as in any other meeting,
Okay.
I would imagine.
Do you have the number, do you know what number that was?
Chairman,
Yes.
if I can just add, if you recall, after our agenda meeting, we had made mention that there may be a resolution
That is correct.
to be added to this week's agenda as a result of further negotiations, as conversations in the executive, as County Council indicated, we are prepared to move forward with that resolution.
Okay, and the resolution in question is 2014-939. Okay. Okay. Members of the public wishing to speak on resolutions, come on up.
Tina Renner Cranford. The ice rink at Warnanko, so you're improving it, you're spending $800,000 on it. So that's no longer going, is it going to be an ice rink or is it going to be a soccer field? Thought there was talks of making that a soccer field. Or are you improving the rink and then you're still deciding whether to do a soccer field? If you could give us an update on that. 921 and 922, you're, looks like it's just under $200,000. You're fixing doors and installing doors at Runnels Specialized Hospital. So if the sale of Runnels is imminent, I guess the sale isn't as is. Has Center Management given you a list of demands of what needs to be fixed? And do you have that list of demands? Can someone come up and explain exactly what else is going to be needed to be fixed? Thank you.
In regards to the Warnako resolution, yes, it will continue to be an ice rink. And 921, 922, I believe that is part of an ongoing negotiation, so County Council, I don't believe you can comment on that.
Well, I believe in terms of
Whether, I don't think it's relevant to those resolutions to begin with, but just, I'm sure the question will come up again in public comment, so we can't comment on the ongoing
in
negotiation.
the 9/20/21, if I'm not mistaken, perhaps Director Yuska can address it, but it's for a 24-month period, which we always have in our terms such as these, the ability to terminate in the event the sale is concluded.
Director.
Yes, through you, Mr. Chair. That's a contract for the whole county, and we included Runnels for any repairs that might happen, but there's no guaranteed work for Runnels, and as soon as, if Runnels is out of the picture, then the contract wouldn't address it.
Lots of building, lots of doors. Thank you.
Good evening, Chairman Hudak, ladies and gentlemen. The Freeholder Board, Bruce Patterson Garwood, thank you very much for clarifying that it was 939 on the agenda for the Center Management Resolution. I guess I'm primarily going to talk about on page 2, number 881 and 882. You had pushed this Kemper Management Award back a couple of weeks, which I appreciate, giving me time to at least think about it. And I mean, the good part about this, and I'm going to also speak about the downside, but the good side is at least you got Kemper Management to give about a concession of about $100,000 from what they were getting the previous years. Makes me wonder why they were getting that extra $100,000, but at least you squeezed them an extra $100,000 for the taxpayers. So thank you very much on that. But I'm going to speak about why I don't understand why it actually is going to Kemper Management when, and this was a previous meeting that you actually had a presentation discussing about it, and there's another company, Integrity, that was in the run, along with Casper was a third one. So out of the three companies that were vying for the contract for running the golf management, again, Integrity is at least $120,000 less in you having to pay them for management in 5 years, which is the contract length. That comes out to $600,000. The presentation came out that that Integrity didn't have experience in New Jersey, and that based on, and I have your proposal evaluation matrix, and based on that, they only received so many points out of a total number of points, and that threw them out of the mix. So in general, somebody did come up and explain. I believe it was Freeholder, ex-Freeholder Sullivan, that mentioned about no experience in New Jersey. But they were actually going out of their way to give an extra $100,000 a year for the taxpayers, and you actually are turning it down. And I was looking at this proposal evaluation matrix that was set up by the evaluation committee, let's say, and it makes no sense. The numbers, I was an engineering major at Rutgers, and and my minor was in statistics. And I looked at how you guys set up this, not you guys, but the committee, and I must find fault with it. And I would like you to at least table this and think about giving it to integrity. But the way it is, you have a bunch of items totaling 100 points, and some of these items, the weight, there's like, one has like 17-point weight, another has 5-point weight, another has 20-point weight. And yes, they all total up to 100, but it makes no sense. And I need you guys to table this and look at these, because normally you put a weight of like 3, 2, and 1, and you take the evaluation of the items and you place 3, 2, 1. And if you do that, and I actually have some copies I can give to Jim to pass out, but it turns out that integrity, even with no experience, receives the most points and should be awarded the contract. Under yours, it looks like under experience, it was like people who were awarded 17 points, and because they had no New Jersey experience, integrity only got 3 points. And that's actually what threw him out of the mix. And that makes no sense whatsoever, because he does have experience outside of New Jersey, but it's just New Jersey he does not have experience. I see no reason why you should be awarding this to Kemper Sports, giving them an extra $120,000 a year favored, because the taxpayers are losing out on that money. And just going to the people in that committee, and there was various members. And to tell you the truth, I mean, there's a fellow by the name of Brinker who's in the UCIA. I don't know his background. And there's another Enright from NW Finance, and he's a reasonable guy with financial experience. You know, there are others, though. The golf director, Sanchez, you know, he has no experience. I know he knows golf, but he had no experience to weigh these numbers and such, as strange as they are.
Thank you, Mr. Patterson. Time's up.
Time's up. Okay, well, anyway, what I would like you to do, table this, relook at it, seriously think about integrity for the taxpayers' sake. That's what I'm asking you to do, and these numbers made no sense the way the committee set it up.
Thank you, sir.
very much.
Thank you for your suggestion.
All right, John Burry of Kenilworth. Starting off with that 881, 882 follow-up. I assume the contract itself will be available sometime. I mean, I could Oprah that, or is it here? I mean,
Once executed, it will be available.
okay. Yeah, because it might be, the answers might be in that contract, but I was just curious on these, you know, before you sign it. It says for operations, all that 4 million, 5 million, but how much will the county be paying on top of that? That is, who's going to be paying for the utilities, the upkeep, the property taxes? I assume the county still owns it. Will they be paying property taxes? And how many county employees are still working at golf? Like, is anybody doing the upkeep or just on the golf? I guess the golf, you know, director of golf operations, right, is still on the payroll. How many employees will the county be paying in addition to paying Kemper for all this? And like, if there's a new bunker that needs something, I mean, I assume will the Kemper be picking this up, or will it be the county? And the other part is that on this new one, 939, and I guess that contract might probably be available too. But just to start off, it's just confusing. To get this to a very basic level, who is going to be paying this? I can't really tell if it's the county who's going to be paying whatever this new company they set up, Runnels Property LLC, that Center Management, or whether Center Management is going to be paying the $4 million here and something based on property taxes. Just in a very simplistic level, who's going to be paying whom for this? Who is going to be leasing from whom on this 939? Okay, that's it.
Why don't we start with the last one first? County Council, can you address?
Sure. Certainly.
Questions
The
on that?
payments would be made to Center by the county. And that is in anticipation of another contract with Center Management, which is the sale of Reynolds Hospital. Once that's concluded, we would be leasing back the psychiatric unit.
Okay. In regards to 881 and 882, I wanted to ask Director Sanchez to come up, tackle some of those financial questions.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, the $4.5 million that you're seeing in the operating budget will cover all salaries and expenses for all of the personnel at the golf course. There is no county employee taking care of the golf courses no longer. I am the only employee at the golf course, and technically my title is actually Director of Recreational Facilities, so I oversee all of the recreational facilities for the county. In regards to the utilities, those are shared, those are centralized costs that will be coming back to the county. The property taxes, we own the property, we will be paying the real estate and property taxes on the building.
Thank you, Director. Any other members of the public wishing to speak on resolutions being offered for adoption?
Good evening, Pat Moschetti, New Providence. The topic is these lawsuits that we have, resolutions. There's 3 of them. One is regarding Richmond LaPala. We have 2 law firms that we're going to increase funding to that would add $25,000, so it'll be a total of $95,000 if you use all the money. Then we have a lawsuit regarding Beverly Figueroa, and there's 2 companies involved with that one. Where you're asking to have them receive $45,000. That would make the total of $300,000 if you exercise all of that for that one lawsuit. And then Shaquan Fowler, you're looking to pay 5 different law firms another $50,000 for a total of $100,000. So for these 3 alone, if everything is used up, that's $495,000 for 3 lawsuits. My concern is, or my lack of understanding is, why do you need 5 law firms for 1 lawsuit regarding Shaquan Fowler? Is that counterproductive? Are they so compartmentalized that they have 5 different law companies to deal with that? It doesn't make sense to me, but I'm sure someone can discuss it. Thank you.
County Counsel, that has to do with having multiple defendants on a case?
That has to do with having 14 defendants in the case. We identified as many as we could in groupings where we could assign 1 attorney to represent 2 or 3 individuals. We did, but there are a number based upon the allegations and information we had received prior to making the assignments. We felt that there were certain individuals who needed their own individual representation. Under the Code of Professional Ethics, if we represent one, no one else in the firm, and basically considering the County Counsel's Office a firm, could represent any other individual. So while we are in the case and have a client, the other clients had to be farmed out, and actually there are other counsel as well.
Any other members of the public wishing to speak on resolutions being offered for adoption? Okay, seeing no one else, I will close that portion of the meeting. And may I ask for a motion to adopt resolutions 2014-881 through 2014-951.
Second.
Freeholder Granados made the motion, and I believe Freeholder Carter seconded it. Mr. Clerk, please read the roll call.
Freeholder Bergen.
Abstain as to 2014-898 and 899, yes as to all others.
Freeholder Carter.
Yes.
Freeholder Estrada. Yes. Freeholder Granados.
Yes.
Freeholder Kowalski.
Yes.
Freeholder Mirabella. Freeholder Wright.
Yes.
Vice Chairman Jallo.
Aye.
And Chairman Hudak.
Aye.
Chairman, you have 9 votes in the affirmative, with the exception of resolutions 2014-898 and 2014-899, with 8 votes in the affirmative and 1 abstention.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. At this time, the meeting is open to the public for the purposes of commenting on any matter. Kindly state your name and town of residence for the record, and be advised there is a 5-minute time limit.
Good evening, Chairman Hudak, ladies and gentlemen of the board, Bruce Patterson, Garwood, New Jersey. At this point, I'm not going to be griping about anything, but last agenda-setting meeting, nobody congratulated you. Normally, I know every year it's kind of like a love fest, but so congratulations to the Chairman Hudak, Freeholder Strada. Who's the third one? Oh, Freeholder Wright. Sorry, I didn't forget it. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name's Elizabeth Nelson. I'm actually formerly a resident of Cranford in Union County, and I'm here because my children still return to Union County, to Cranford. And something of a huge concern to me is the fact that apparently we have, the USGS has identified 1.6 trillion cubic feet of gas in the South Newark Basin. The South Newark Basin is a shale formation beneath us, and it turns out that Union County is straddling the South Newark Basin and the as yet to be assessed North Newark Basin. So a few years ago I did become concerned with the explosion of fracking in our area, and I was lucky enough to be in a position to go traveling and looking at most of the country where some of the fracking is going on, including some areas of Canada. So it struck me that it truly is a dangerous practice. Many people think that it's just fracking. We've had it for ages, that it's kind of like the traditional oil industry, only a bit speedier. But in fact, there's much more water pressure used, much more chemicals used, a much bigger waste product to be disposed of, much more air pollution, escaping methane in air and water, and a lot of volatile organic compounds. And I noticed that Middlesex County has recently approved a ban, an ordinance to ban fracking in Middlesex County, and I would hope that Union County would go ahead and take from their example and go ahead and do that also. I just wanted to add that all through the country, we're in a position where we have to take steps to protect our own local areas. And this is partly because the industry has multiple exemptions which are there federally to protect public health and the environment. Specifically, the fracking industry is exempt from sections of the Clean Water Act, the Clean Air Act, the Safe Drinking Water Act, Superfund, National Environmental Policy Act, and the Resources Conservation and Recovery Act. It's well known that their chemical concoctions are undisclosed. They don't have to disclose them, so therefore any accidents involving trucks of chemicals or any leaks at the site or leaks into an aquifer or a river, when the hazmat team comes out, they don't even know what they're dealing with. So I would hope that this county that I spent 20 years in and enjoyed, and I've brought my kids up in, I hope that this county will protect the public from the possibility of fracking coming here. It is known that the industry is already fracking in cities across America. LA is one of them, and the cities in Texas where they frack inside the city limits. And wherever they've gone from traditional drilling to fracking, we're seeing municipal bans start to be demanded. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am.
I also wanted To hand out the more information in support of the ban. So I've got copies for each of the members of
Thank you, ma'am.
council.
If you would mind leaving that with the clerk, please.
Thank you.
We'll make sure it gets us. Any other members of the public wishing to speak?
Yeah, my name is Barbara Egger. I am the president of Local 5112, Health Professionals and Allied Employees. I represent the RNs who work at Runnels Hospital, and I'm also speaking on behalf of the other people who are working at Runnels too. My union today was notified for the first time that Cornerstone will be kept. We were not notified of this before. There were talks, but nobody told us anything. We have repeatedly tried to have contact with people from the administration. We have not received calls back. We have not received return messages. So today we got a call saying that approximately 25 of the RNs would be kept to work on the Cornerstone unit. That leaves about 30 nurses who will be laid off, okay? We were also told at this time today that the county is going to seek an exemption from civil service rules so that seniority would not be the basis for keeping the nurses. This is the first mention at all that of not following normal civil service procedures. And that upsets me a lot because we're talking 2 weeks from now. I have nurses there. Nobody knows who's working. Nobody knows who's got a job yet. However, somebody knows something and they're not telling us because schedules are already being made for December. Schedules are made and people are being called up and they're being asked to do overtime already. So I haven't gotten a bumping list. The last time I spoke with somebody from administration, they told me that, of course, we'll follow the bumping list. I have not seen a bumping list yet. How can schedules be made already when I don't even know which nurses are going to be kept there? Okay? And please, would somebody remind somebody that way they have all these plans and they're plotting in the background and they're not including anybody from the unions, that we do have a contract. And it is a legally enforceable contract. Everybody's talking about other contracts. We have one also. And that means that they can go ahead and apply for an exemption from civil service, but nobody asked us about an exemption for what we have in our contract about layoffs. Okay, nobody's talking to us, nobody's discussing. We are the people who take care of these patients. We are the people who knows what's going on. Last time I was here, I told you there was a problem on psych. And you were told that, don't worry, it's all under control. Since then, 3 employees have been injured. Okay? And I'm up here to say, I told you so. I told you this was going to happen. So now I'm telling you now that all these plans are being made. We don't know what they are because nobody's bothering to share with us what is going on. In 2 weeks, there's going to be a big change. We don't know what it is. We don't know which employees are going to be working. We don't know what's happening. And we need to be there. There is an obligation to negotiate with us any change in working conditions. Obviously, this is a huge change in working conditions, and nobody is speaking to us. Okay? And it's not just us, it's Council Aid also. We're not getting anything. So whatever plans are being made in a back room, remember, you need to negotiate this and go to civil service, but you need to come back and honor our contract. This is a big issue. And when I heard that schedules were being made already and nobody even knows who's going to be laid off or not, that's outrageous. I don't know what plans are going on. I don't know what's happening, but this is not right. This is not right at all. Thank you.
Director Guzzo.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, I think Norm Albert's here too because he can address the issue relative to bumping and what the county is seeking relative to a civil service exemption. I'm not gonna stand up here and go toe for toe because it's not going to accomplish anything. What I will say is this, and this is what I said the last time, that there are no backroom deals that are being cut. The fact of the matter is, as this board knows, because we spent an inordinate amount of time in an executive session tonight discussing a newly negotiated agreement we believe that we have today. In terms of the speaker's comment about not talking and not responding to the union, that is absolutely not true. There has been conversations between myself and I think one of their executive members, Corrado Caramucci, either email and phone calls. Every time that he has emailed me or spoke to me, I have responded to him. I know that today, as a matter of fact, that our Labor Counsel, Kathy Hatfield, spoke to him again. It's not a matter of keeping people in the dark. It's an issue of when you have something to say, you share it. In terms of schedules being done, that is absolutely not true. You can't, I'm not going to speak to rumor. Doesn't do anyone any good. All I will say is that we are going forward. I will be up there tomorrow morning, as I believe the union knows, addressing the Cornerstone staff along with the acting administrator, Michael Fleming, to try to discuss some of the issues as a result of action that you took about 20 minutes ago relative to an agreement, a term sheet. So, all I can say is there were no backroom deals cut. We've tried to be as open and honest as we can. The only thing that we kept in mind and that you wanted us to keep in mind was in order to get this deal done, what could we do to go forward? It was decided that if we could operate Cornerstone, we would do that. The fact of the matter is we've worked out an agreement, and approximately 80 employees, county employees that were going to lose their job, will now not lose their job as a result of that. Thank you.
Director Albert, can you speak in terms of the exemption that was referenced?
Thank you, Chairman. There is no, through you, Mr. Chair, there is no exemption being sought from civil service. We did correspond with civil service today seeking a bona fide qualifications for retention in the Cornerstone unit pursuant to the New Jersey Administrative Code and Civil Service regulations. We informed both unions in a timely manner and copied them on our submission to Civil Service. And that's all that we've done. We've kept the lines open. We've told Civil Service changes are coming, and we have communicated with them, and we have copied the unions. We informed the unions what we were doing in a timely manner as we were doing it today, both unions, and that's really all I can relate on what we're doing. But we also obviously informed the board in a timely manner.
Thank you, Director. Any other members of the public wishing to speak?
Pat Moschetti, New Providence. I have 3 different topics. The first one is a job related. What is the process and procedure to account for Union County government management employee days worked versus days not worked? Is it the responsibility of the person's immediate supervisor to tally that on a weekly, monthly, quarterly, or yearly basis? So it's accounting for a person's time at work. The second topic, in the November 5th issue of the Independent Press, I'll paraphrase an article, and I would like to have someone from the county clarify it or say it's good or bad or whatever. We're right on. The article basically says that Union County freeholders are giving money to the town of Summit to pay an individual to create a Summit song. If that's true, how much will that person be receiving? Because in the article there's no dollar value associated with that. And in that realm, if that is true and the dollar value is stated, doesn't the Union County government have more pressing issues to spend their limited dollars on, such as job creation, homelessness, education, roads and bridges, public safety, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? So if that's a bad article, please state the facts properly for us, because the people in reading those newspapers in Berkeley Heights, Summit, New Providence are seeing that. And my last topic, it's topical in the news. Recent poll again shows that a good portion of New Jersey residents, including Union County folks, plan to leave the state. And one of the major reasons is excessive taxes are creating this desire, or lack of a desire, but a need to leave. So my question is, since this is a topic that keeps coming up, what is the Union County government, who spends $500 million, doing to make the county a more taxpayer-friendly place so that people earning salaries and money and pensions stay in the state of New Jersey versus leaving? As when they leave, you have less people supporting the people who are getting services from you. Thank you.
I guess in regard to what our timekeeping system is, did you want to tackle that one, or should I bring up Director Albert?
I can speak to that, Chairman. Each department has individuals, supervisors, clerical staff that keep track of time worked. We also have an automated personnel system that controls that and keeps tally as well. In some cases, such as in our public works facility, we also have time clocks. So each department is responsible for keeping that, and ultimately the Department of Administration has the ultimate control. If I may, the second question about the town of Summit, that individual received a HART grant, one of many HART grants that are applied for through our Culture and Heritage Bureau, and this individual received that. So.
Any other members of the public wishing to speak?
Tina Red at Cranford. As far as elections, I don't think it's gotten any news coverage. I know I haven't had time to write about it. But congratulations, you took control of the Elizabeth Board of Education. So that's another $600 million, I think, is their budget for you to, for your jobs and your patronage and whatnot. So your political party is now controlling Union County governments and the Elizabeth Board of Education and the City of Elizabeth and others. But the Board of Education is the newest feather in your caps, and I don't think anyone's, really made any public statement about it. So congratulations. On November 5th, you had another county employee, Raymond Rappiano, plead guilty to bribing an agent of New Jersey Transit. Although he was a full-time county employee making $85,000 stationed at Runnels, he was doing this in his capacity as an employee of a landscaping business. So it's something he was doing on the side. So I know a lot of people that work in the private sector. For $85,000, they're not working 9 to 5. They're working 50, 60 hours a week. So can you remind the public as county employees how they're allowed to have an executive position within the county and work private jobs as well, to be an employee of another company, to own another company, and what the rules are in place? Do they have to let you know that they own a company or are working another part-time job or whatnot? Are they allowed to use their county cell phones? Are they allowed to take a county break and return a phone call for another job? Are they allowed to use their county computers? Because if they're working full-time, how can they work somewhere else? So what rules do you have in place? And this employee, I'm told, had interviewed just recently for the position that was left open when another county employee, Neil Palmieri, had resigned because he pled guilty, but that involved his county job for accepting bribes, for his county bribes. So you had, and you didn't know about either of these employees either. You didn't know about it until they pled guilty, and the one resigned and the other one retired. So all this was going on right underneath your nose. And if you want to make a public statement tonight, inform us, what policies have you put in place? Have you asked the county prosecutor to investigate who these employees had contact with? Apparently they had contact with the same, I'm sure they both used Positive Attitude. I'm guessing it would make sense that they would both have used that vendor, and how they were interconnected, and if there's anyone else involved, or do we have to wait for them to resign? The FBI is handling those investigations. There were lawsuits on the agenda tonight. One is Beverly Figueroa, and I just want to point out to the people at home, This has been going on for 11 years now. Maybe you're not even aware, but this lawsuit was filed in January '04, so this is going on 11 years in January. I'm not sure if there's more law firms involved, but there's only 2 on the agenda tonight, and those bills total $300,000. There might be more out there. So it's 11 years, $300,000, and the original complaint alleged that she was in training and she was said she was unfit and she was taken out of training. But it's 11 years later, and she's still a sheriff's officer. Sheriff Folick was named in the suit, and he passed away in office. And the other, Malcolm, is still a sheriff's officer. So all these people are still employed by the county, and this has been going on for 11 years, costing at least $300,000. So if you could give us an update on that. Thank you. But I'd really like an update on, what exactly you're doing with these employees that are just, pleading guilty in federal court, and you have no clue that it's even going on. No clue. Is anyone embarrassed? I mean, what are you doing about that? What are you asking the prosecutor to do? It's like an epidemic.
Counsel?
I will respond to the Figueroa action. The action that the speaker is referring to was another lawsuit that was filed by the individual. It is not the same case. And with reference to the statement about Mr. Malcolm has not been an employee with the County of Union for I don't know how many years, but I believe at least somewhere in the area of 6 or 7. This is a different lawsuit.
County Counsel, County Manager, any statement relevant to Mr. Rappoliano?
Correct me if I'm wrong. I'd like to ask. Actually, I'll comment on the second part of it. Can I ask Director Albert to come up on the first, with regard to Mr. Rappoliano's employment?
Through you, Mr. Chair, the Ray Rappoliano retired from the county, and there is no involvement in his employment in the plea in federal court.
Also, to the second part of the question, there is county policy with regard to use of cell phones, Blackberries, et cetera, for personal use. The charges are monitored on a monthly basis by our Communications Bureau, so we do have policies and procedures in place relative to that.
Okay. And I imagine all of our employees follow the Department of Community Affairs guidelines by filing financial disclosures for outside interests. Is that correct?
That's correct, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, County Manager. Any other questions or any other comments? Over? Seeing none, I will close that portion of the meeting, and we will start with Freeholder comments. On my right with Freeholder Bergen.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Now that we have an opportunity, I would like to take it to congratulate Freeholder Estrada, Freeholder Chairman Hudak, and Freeholder Wright on their re-election a couple weeks ago, but this is the first opportunity that I've had. Well-deserved, and welcome back to the board. We appreciate all that each of you have done for this county over the years. I'd also like to talk about an event that I took part in a couple weeks ago, along with Freeholder Betty Jane Kowalski at Bryant Park in Summit and Springfield. For those of you who may not know, Bryant Park is a popular and historically significant part of our Union County Park system, and we were there to celebrate, if you will, a groundbreaking for a project that was made possible through the efforts of the Bryant Park Homestead Conservancy. It's actually the only conservancy in Union County that is eligible to receive Green Acres funds. They're a nonprofit organization made up of residents of Springfield and Summit who are concerned with Bryant Park. And they were able to receive a grant from Green Acres for renovations of the park, but as with all Green Acres money, there has to be a matching grant. And I'm happy to say that the county, through the Open Space, Recreation, and Historic Preservation Trust Fund, was able to match the $275,000 that the state gave to make a total amount for this project of $550,000. Some of the improvements at the park are going to be a gazebo, a new nature trail, plantings, soil restoration, new benches, including wheelchair access to seating areas, restoration of the west slope retaining wall. The county, this is a perfect example of the residents working with the county, working with the state to get a project going that might not otherwise have happened. So the county really thanks the Bryant Park Olmsted Conservancy for all the work they did to bring that project forward. I also want to mention, I happened yesterday, was in another of our county parks, Cedar Brook Park in Plainfield, and I was there to help rededicate what is known as Mathewson Drive, which is the roadway through the park. It's actually named after the first General Superintendent of the Union County Park System, F.S. Mathewson, and it's one of only 2 roads in county parks that's actually named after individuals. There's also R.W. Tracy, I think it's Drive, in Watchung Reservation, which honors another gentleman who was important in development of our parks. For those of you who don't know, Cedar Brook Park is in Plainfield, and the road was approved to be named after Mr. Mathewson in 1960. At that time, they planted 33 scarlet oaks along the roadway, one for each of his years of service. He worked for the county for 33 years. The ceremony was really to dedicate new signs giving the name of the roadway, and the project was at the request and urging of the Plainfield North Plainfield Rotary Club, because Mr. Mathewson, in addition to being a valued member of the county, was also an active member of the Plainfield Rotary Club for, I think, in excess of 50 years. I was very proud to be there because I am a member of the Cranford Rotary Club for more than 32 years now. So it was really a pleasure for me to be there with the Rotarians from that town, honoring somebody who worked for this county. Thank you.
Thank you, Freeholder Bergen. Freeholder Granados?
I want to echo on Freeholder Bergen's comments and congratulating Freeholder Wright, Chairman Hudak, and Freeholder Estrada for winning this past election and definitely showing that the Union County residents know everything you've done for our community, and by re-electing you have definitely shown that profoundly. Also, going to all elections throughout the Union County, all the winners that have won, congratulate them. And when it comes to a comment in reference to Elizabeth Board of Education, as an Elizabeth resident, I'm happy to see individuals, one, who are going to be dedicated to making sure our children have the best possible education and making sure they put our children's needs first. So I just want to congratulate them also. And on a different note, this past week at Warren Ankle Park, we had the New York Giants, Union County College, and several other organizations participate in a park cleanup, in which they collected several bags of garbage and made sure our park keeps up to date when it comes to cleanliness and making sure that we have the best possible facilities for our county residents. I just want to appreciate them for all their hard work. That's it.
Thank you, Freeholder. Freeholder Wright?
Thank you. To the residents of Union County, I would like to thank you for supporting my colleagues, Freeholder Estrada, and our chairperson, Freeholder Hudak, as we, in the election last week. We will continue to serve our communities and our constituents so that we can provide the best services possible for Union County. For those Union County residents who are struggling with foreclosure issues, there is a resource available that can help you. The Union County Foreclosure Task Force and the Commission on Human Relations have been sponsoring a series of free public forums on foreclosure, which offer reliable one-on-one guidance. If you haven't attended one of these forums yet, I encourage you to do so. You can get helpful advice if you're in foreclosure now, if you're concerned about your risk of foreclosure in the future, or if you are a tenant in a property that is facing foreclosure. The next installment of the series is coming up on Tuesday, December the 2nd, from 6 to 7:30 p.m. at the Church of the Assumption in Roselle Park. If you would like additional details, you could visit the Union County website or call the Human Relations Commission at 908-889-9028. That's 908-889-9028. Thank you.
Thank you, Freeholder Wright. Freeholder Mirabella?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, thank you. I would like to join Mr. Patterson in congratulating the freeholders who won election. I don't know if I get a chance to say that, Mr. Patterson, so I hope you don't mind. I kind of linked this together. Very few things, but it's good tonight we did. For Freeholder Estrada, Freeholder Wright, and Chairman Hudak on their overwhelming victory last week. Also want to congratulate our surrogate, Jim LaCourte, and our new full-time sheriff, Joe Cryan, elected. Sheriff Cryan has served Union County with a steady hand as undersheriff and stepped up as acting sheriff in the after the untimely passing of our Sheriff Froelich last summer. I'm looking forward to working with him, surrogate LaCourte, and my colleagues on the Freeholder Board for many years to come. So congratulations to all of you. I'd also like to congratulate, as a few of the freeholders mentioned before, all the local officials who were elected on the local level, the state level, and the federal level, and those Board of Ed members who were elected this last year, too. I want to say that I participated in a number of Veterans Day events over the last week and was very happy to participate in Scotch Plains and Fanwood on Tuesday, and just remind residents that every day really should be Veterans Day, and take time to thank a veteran when you see them walking in the street, at the market, or wherever you are. They've done our country a tremendous service and deserve many thanks, not only on Veterans Day, but throughout the year. I want to comment also on one other event that I had the privilege of participating in last weekend, and that was a show at the Union County Performing Arts Center, Rent. And I know Freeholder Jala was very much behind that effort, and the support of Chairman Hudak and the rest of the freeholders. We're putting on these world-class performances at the Arts Center last weekend, and if you didn't get a chance to go last weekend, you have a chance this weekend, Friday and Saturday night, and I encourage you to go. The seats are $15, and it's a really terrific show, and I encourage you to go to Rawway, have dinner in Rawway, and go to the show, and it's, trust me, you'll have a good night out, and do yourself a favor and do that. So, this board has continuously supported the arts, supported Rawway and that theater, and I encourage everyone who hasn't had a chance to see any of the shows this weekend coming up, or any shows at the Performing Arts Center in Rawway or the Hamilton stage to take some time out and have a great night out and do that. And with that, I'll conclude my comments, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Freeholder. Freeholder Estrada?
Thank you very much. First of all, I want to congratulate my colleagues, Freeholder Burnell Wright and Freeholder Chris Hudak, who were part of the trio that got reelected. It's important that in the democratic process that the participants, no doubt there will be always winners, and there are always people who are not as fortunate. But it really is important because what it does is that allows individuals to take time to at least go out and express their opinions as to who they feel will best represent them. There's no doubt in this county of Union that the individuals who went out to vote in the elections made it very clear that they're very happy with the Union County Board of Chosen Freeholders and their candidates. So for them, I thank you. I also want to thank the individuals across the county who participated in this process. And we have seen a very diversified group of individuals who are running, individuals who were successful in the elections who had not been successful in years previously. So this is a great show of democracy, and that's something that is very, very important. It was for me a pleasure to run the top of the ticket with our Senator Booker, as well as Surrogate LaCourte and Sheriff Crime. And this is something that's very, very important because, once again, the team was held intact, and I know that in that manner we can be more successful in the way that we conduct business for the county and government in general. I also have an announcement here that I'm happy to report that Union County has received an award from the New Jersey Transportation Planning Authority in the amount of $784,490. This grant is part of the NJTPA Local Safety Program. It will fund intersection improvements in Plainfield along West 7th Street at Grant, Plainfield, and Central Avenues, which is one of the county's business arteries. This stretch of roadway, several roadway services, several important institutions in Plainfield, along with numerous businesses, houses of worship, and residents. So it's a very, very vast and visited intersection. Among the new safety improvements, there will be new traffic lights installed, which is equipment consisting of 12-inch LED signals, vehicle image detection, traffic signal controllers, and LED pedestrian countdown signals. This is something very important for safety, where it allows the individual crossing the streets to know how much time they have to see, whether they're going to get to the other side in a safe manner. And that's something that was done through a grant of New Jersey and JTPA. And I guess for now, that concludes my comments, Mr. Chair. Thank you so much.
Freeholder, thank you very much. Freeholder Carter.
Thank you, Chairman. I'd like to also echo the sentiments of congratulations to Surrogate McCourt, Sheriff Cryan, my colleagues here on the Freeholder Board, Freeholder Estrada, Chairman Hudak, and Freeholder Wright, and congratulate you all on a great win that you had. I also want to congratulate all the winners in Union County and across the state. You know, it takes a lot when you step out there to run, and I think it's even harder when you step out there and to get reelected. So I congratulate you, the work that you're doing here. The people spoke, and I believe that, you know, they have the trust in us, and you're doing good work, and you're working and partnering for those that are here in the county. So congratulations, and continue the work that you're doing. I also want to take an opportunity to say thank you to the veterans who have served, because if it was not for them stepping up to the plate and those who are out there serving now for us, we wouldn't have some of the opportunities we have here today, and our young people would not have their voices heard as much as they are heard today. So thank you to our vets, and I think that it was an important thing that, you know, many people have done this past Tuesday to take opportunity to, you know, take a moment to think about them and to thank them. So publicly, I say thank you. I also want to take an opportunity to remind everybody we're getting into the cold weather. Seasons are changing, and please make sure that you check on your neighbors, check on those that are elderly. Make sure, you know what, if you don't hear from them in a day or so and you're used to hearing from them, please make sure that you go and knock on their door or somehow contact someone that knows how to get in touch with them. Also, take an opportunity to look on our website for things that are going on in the county. We have, you know, just like was just said, we have an opportunity to see a play that, you know, it's not on Broadway, it's right here in Union County, To See Rent. Has 2 more shows this weekend, Friday and Saturday. And when you look at that and look at the cost, you cannot beat that. And it's a show that, you know what, people would be willing to pay 3 times the price or more to see that. So I congratulate the players that are in that play, and I look forward to seeing it. I haven't seen it yet, so I'm looking forward to seeing it either Friday or Saturday night this week. And last, I wanted to remind everybody that we are still accepting nominations for the 23rd Annual Women of Excellence Award. The Women of Excellence Award recognizes women here in Union County for their outstanding achievements in categories like the arts and humanities, business and entrepreneurial, and community service. It's a wonderful recognition for the women who receive it, and it also reflects well on their places of employment or volunteer organizations to which they belong. The award is open to all women 21 and older who live, work, or even volunteer here in Union County. All nominations should be emailed to Jane O'Hara at 708 North Avenue in Westfield, New Jersey, 07090. And the deadline for submission is around the corner. It's December the 1st, 2014. So please, if you have anyone that you know that is worthy of the recognition, you can go onto our website. You can download the form. You can get the information. please fill it out and get that nomination in. And again, our website is www.ucnj.org. And thank you.
Thank you, Freeholder Carter. Freeholder Kowalski.
Thank you, Chairman. I'm very glad that you and Freeholders Estrada and Wright have been reelected, and I know you will continue the outstanding work that you have done so far, and I look forward to working with you for another term. And congratulations also to Surrogate LaCourt and Sheriff Cryan. I'd also like to thank the residents and public officials, including 4 of my colleagues, Freeholders Carter and Mirabella, and who else was at the Freeholder Granados, I believe, were at the Freeholder Hudak at the Raritan Valley Railroad Coalition Open House meeting that we had in Cranford a couple of weeks ago. At that meeting, a representative of New Jersey Transit pledged to find additional funding for expanding the service as planned for this January. And I also must say thanks to Freeholder Estrada for his representation of our county on the NJTPA, which is helping with this. This pledge is going to help us put back on track the goal of getting one-seat service, that's direct service between our Raritan Valley towns and New York City. So the next Rail Coalition Open meeting will be on November 17th, and you can get an update on the coalition's progress and find out how to help and support this effort. It will be at Union County Community College Plainfield campus, 232 East 2nd Street in Plainfield, and you can get details on that at ucnj.org. And I'd also like to mention that we had a very informative program about the Civil War anniversary earlier this week, organized by our county clerk, Joanne Rajapi, and the Civil War Anniversary Committee.
That's interesting.
That's right. Well,
Interesting ringtone.
we didn't have that kind of music there, but all right, I'll try and wrap this up.
Like the Oscars.
We had a number of people who had relatives who were Civil War veterans who read from letters that those relatives wrote from the front. It was very moving and informative to hear the first-person narratives of things that happened during the Civil War from about people that lived right here in our county. We had a number of veterans who are currently with us attend. So it was an opportunity to honor our veterans, both past and present, and thanks to Ms. Rajapi and all of the committee and everyone who attended. So thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Freeholder Kowalski. County Council, any comments?
Just one, Mr. Chairman, I appreciate the opportunity to congratulate you publicly, Freeholder Estrada and Freeholder Wright, on your re-elections, and I look forward to working with you in the future. And other than that, I have no other comments.
Thank you
very much.
Thank you, County Council. County Manager?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to also express my congratulations to you, Freeholder Estrada and Freeholder Wright, for your well-deserved victory. And just very quickly, just like to make residents and small business owners aware of a loan program that UCEDC, the Union County Economic Development Corporation, which is funded in part from the Union County Board of Chosen Freeholders. It's a 2% working capital loan with up to $25,000 available for 5 years with no collateral requirements. 2-week turnaround, no prepayment penalties, and no application or processing fees. It can really be helpful for small businesses that are still feeling the economic impact of Sandy. For more information, call UCEDC at 908-527-1166. Thank you.
Thank you, County Manager. Vice Chair?
No comments, Chairman.
Thank you, Vice Chair. I have a couple comments I wanted to make before we conclude the meeting. In regard to the young lady who came up to speak about fracking, I just wanted to make the public aboard that the Union County Board of Chosen Freeholders does share the concerns that people in the community have. And while we don't have the authority to ban fracking on all properties countywide, the county will support a ban on county-owned properties and will encourage municipalities to do the same. We've been meeting internally to craft a measure that will address this issue, and the board hopes to have a finalized vote on, hopefully, for next month. Secondly, just in regards to, there were some comments made in one of the bid, proposals for golf from Integra Golf. You know, a number of years ago, when I was working in the New Jersey Assembly, there was a contract that was issued by the Parkway Authority, at that time. And they replaced a vendor that was doing roadside assistance, and they offered the state a no-bid contract, which was a substantial decrease, that they would charge nothing to the state for doing roadside assistance. And what it turned out was they had a very high fee card for motorists who were pulled over. So whereas there had been a subsidized rate for motorists if they'd had a blowout tire, needed a battery charge, a little gas to get off the exit, suddenly now they were getting hit very hard for tow fees and other repairs. I guess the point is, and I remember, I took 3 years of Latin in high school, but I don't remember much from it, but I remember a phrase, it was Timeo Denos et Donis Ferentes, and that means I fear the Greeks even when they're bearing gifts. It's from the Aeneid, and it was the one Trojan priest is saying, don't bring the horse in, it's going to end up bad. And of course they let in the horse, and then it just didn't work out for them. So Miss Donna Thurston, who was my Latin teacher in high school, should be very proud of me tonight for remembering that. But this company, Integra, they came up with a bid which was very low comparatively to the other vendors who have experience in the New Jersey market. And quite frankly, we have a very good relationship with Kemper. The contract was very good, and I'm not willing to sign, and I congratulate the members of the board for not willing to sign away on promises of a better experience. We have very good reviews on that facility in terms of its operation, its maintenance, in terms of the way it's being run, and so we're very happy to continue that at a better deal for the taxpayers, but to sort of chase a deal that may be great in the long run with a company that has zero experience is just not in our best interest. I also wanted, as we approach Thanksgiving, I wanted to call to the attention an effort of a local group, a fellow Rutgers alumni, a gentleman from Cranford named Eric Rubinson, reached out to me to tell me about a program he had started in 2012. He was part of a group that worked with folks in Middletown after Hurricane Sandy, and they started a project called Track Friday. That year, he offered his friends that they could raise $5,000. He would run a marathon on their home track in Middletown High School, which was 105.5 laps. The idea picked up steam, and others started committing to do laps, and they raised a ton of money to support the local food bank. They were concerned, they wanted to grow the project, but they were concerned that people would not want to give money because they were going down verified charities, so they worked with on a company called Razoo, which does online donating, and they wanted to give people the option to donate with confidence to reputable charities, and not just for the issue of Hurricane Sandy, but for other things, so they can keep the project going. So instead of setting up a fund to collect the money themselves, they set up a giving page on Razoo and asked people to make direct donations and backing with a commitment to get out on the day after Thanksgiving. It's called Track Friday, play on Black Friday, and go either run laps after eating a bunch of turkey the following day for charity. This year, I'm going to be doing that. There's one of these has popped up in Kenilworth at David Burley High School. I will be doing laps in honor of the neurosurgical unit at Columbia Presbyterian Hospital, in honor of my grandfather who passed away this June from a brain tumor. I will be running 3 miles. Okay, I'm not going to be running. I am going to jog a little, and then I'm going to walk with purpose. But I'm going to do so for 3 miles, and I'm going to be with other people who I probably have never met and may not meet again, who've just found this location to go and do it. And they've raised, since 2012, about $40,000 for various of reputable causes. They have a website set up. It's called trackfriday.org. and there's a number of causes that you can give to, and these are just folks in the community. You may know them, you may not, that are raising money for a bunch of different causes, and it's a very good thing. So that's trackfriday.org, so it's something good to do on Thanksgiving, make you feel a little less guilty about having some extra pie. Finally, I just want to issue my thanks to the voters of Union County for returning myself, Freeholder Estrada, and Freeholder Wright to the Freeholder Board. It's an honor and a privilege to serve you, to work with a great, talented board of freeholders, as well as a tremendous staff in the county, starting from the county managers through the directors and all the way down to every member of our family here. It's a privilege to work with you, to serve the taxpayers in Union County. Congratulate Jim LaCourte, who was reelected, as well as our sheriff. And I just want to say thank you to everyone who ran. Maybe you won, maybe you didn't, but you participated in the process. That's very important. And thanks to you for keeping our democracy vibrant. And with that, I will ask for a motion
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
to adjourn. Motion was made by Freeholder Mirabella, and it was seconded by Freeholder Granados. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. We are adjourned.